Hello, wrestling fans. The gentleman Jody Powell here with last minute WrestleMania predictions. We're going to go through the whole card real quick. And I'm going to give you my predictions and see how terrible I am at predicting what the WWE is going to do. It's Saturday morning. It's 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. So this is well before the start of night one. So these are my final random thoughts around what the entire card is going to look like, what they're going to do based on what we saw this week on Raw, what we saw last night on SmackDown. So let's get to it. I'm going to start with day one, tonight, Saturday, WrestleMania night one. Let's start with Rey Mysterio and El Grande Americano. Now, a lot of people are saying, and a lot of predictions are going to be for Rey Mysterio, and not only for Rey Mysterio to win, but Rey Mysterio to unmask El Grande Americano, which I think would be way too soon, way too rushed in this. In fact, what I would love to see, and what I'm going to predict here, not necessarily what the WWE is going to do, but what I think should happen, is that El Grande Americano picks up a win over the Hall of Famer, Rey Mysterio, with help from Chad Gable. How great would it be to have a Grande American? I don't know who would be under the mask of Grande Americano. It doesn't matter for tonight and for this scenario, because it would add intrigue to this story that everyone knows Chad Gable is Grande Americano. I mean, we haven't seen something this obvious since Owen Hart was the Blue Blazer. But what a twist it would be to have a Grande Americano pick up a victory because Chad Gable came out and interfered. So we'll see if that happens. Jade Cargill versus Naomi. The conclusion of this storyline, we can only hope, because Naomi, of course, admitting to attacking Jade Cargill way back, when was that? Last fall, October, November sometime. Jade Cargill was off TV for a long time. Please let Jade Cargill win this match, and please let caution tape Naomi dissolve into obscurity, and please let's move on from this. This needs to be a payoff. I think this is setting up a Jade Cargill Bianca Belair run, which could be interesting if done correctly. I'll get to Bianca Belair in just a minute. But I think Jade Cargill picks up the win and moves on to face bigger and better competition and storyline. And I think Naomi just never been a fan. So glow your way on out of here. World Tag Team Championship match. The War Raiders, Eric and Ivar, the champions, taking on the New Day, Kofi and Xavier. I said on Falls Count Anywhere it's probably been months ago now, that I was here for the New Day. Like I loved the promo they did, basically excommunicating Big E. But then it just kind of sat there. And we got Kofi and Xavier bickering with backstage politics in terms of the locker room, which I think was a terrible, terrible direction to take with this storyline. But I think it can be redeemed. I think it can be redeemed by putting the tag team titles on the New Day. I think they will put the tag team titles on the New Day. And I think there needs to be some kind of culmination of Big E being involved in their next feud or their next large tag team title defense, whether he's in a managerial role. I don't think it'll be in an in-ring role, because medically, I don't think that's going to be possible. I don't think Big E will step foot inside a ring to wrestle ever again, which is a shame because he was a wonderful talent. But let's go with the New Day, knocking off the War Raiders, picking up the World Tag Team titles. The United States Championship match is going to be LA Knight taking on Jacob Fatu. And I think the whole world, including myself, believes that Jacob Fatu will walk away with the U.S. title. And so the question really then is how that happens. And I think it happens with an assist from Solo Sikoa. And I think it's going to be an unwanted assist. Solo Sikoa. And I don't think I think Jacob Fatu is primed and ready for some type of, and I hesitate to say heel or face turn, because I think I don't think Jacob Fatu is a face. I mean, he is just he is so intense. He has the chance to be kind of a stone coldish character where he's a fan favorite, but he's not exactly the baby face. You know what I mean? So I do think Fatu is going to pick up the U.S. title. I think he is going to eventually feud with Solo Sikoa, and we'll see where the Tongans fall into that. We saw Tama Tonga taken out by LA Knight on SmackDown by slamming his hand inside the car door, which did not look very comfortable. That looked painful. So we'll see if Fatu comes out as your U.S. champion over LA Knight. And then the question really remains, what's lost in all this is, well, then what for LA Knight? Because this time last year, there were people calling for LA Knight to be world champion. So how are they going to do this in a way that does not bury LA Knight in mid-card status? And unlike several others I've seen online, I don't think LA Knight belongs in mid-card status. I think he can and should be one of the top guys. He has the charisma. Everyone says he's a knockoff of Stone Cold and The Rock. So what? Every single wrestler who has developed a character has knocked off someone. I mean, take a look at Ric Flair, and Ric Flair will be the first one to tell you exactly where he got his Nature Boy idea, where he got the charisma, the persona, the idea of who Ric Flair is. It came from those who came before him. So I'm not holding that against LA Knight. I think he does absolutely tremendous work in building and talking and promoting. I think he's good in the ring. He's okay in the ring. He's fine. There are a lot of top guys that are just okay in the ring, and I think he should be one of them. Okay. World Heavyweight Championship match. Gunther taking on Jey Uso. I think Jey is going to win this match. I don't think he should, but I think he will. And, it's going to be, I don't see how they do it any other way than Jey over Clean. Now, there is one theory that I saw out there that was pretty interesting. The Rock wanted Cody to sell out to him. The Rock had a backup plan in John Cena. You always have a plan B, but does The Rock have a plan C here? And is Jey Uso plan C? Will somehow The Rock be involved in night one of Jey Uso's match with Gunther? It's a stretch. And there's been very, very little done to lead someone to believe that that's going to happen, but it could. But I think Jey wins either way. And so what does that leave for Jey Uso? I think it leaves title reign a little longer than his Intercontinental Championship, but not quite the run that his cousin Roman had with the title. That's for sure. For Gunther, it's got to be frustrating because he is absolutely the guy out of everyone in the WWE. I think Gunther is the guy and can be the guy, and WWE needs to recognize that. All right, the match that everyone's been talking about, WWE Women's Championship match, Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. Boy, it got personal here, didn't it? Off-script interview, segments and promos and social media battles and, mentions of disrespect and even the B word, bullying. I think Tiffany wins. I think Tiffany Stratton goes. I think all of this, and I don't think all of it was planned out. I don't think this whole. I think some of this was shoot, particularly in the promo. But I think you never waste a good opportunity to build on something. And so I think WWE builds on Tiffany Stratton here. Charlotte Flair kind of passing the torch, if you will, to Tiffany Stratton here. We'll see. And then we'll see what the fallout of that would become. So I'm not sure where they go from there. All right, triple threat match, main event, night one, even though the main event should be Jay and Gunther because Jay won the Royal Rumble and the winner of the Royal Rumble main event is WrestleMania. WWE playing loosey-goosey with the rules of the Royal Rumble here this year. But Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth Rollins. And I'm going to kind of fall in line with what a lot of people are thinking, that Seth Rollins is the logical choice here. I think Seth Rollins wins this match. Does Paul turn on Roman and CM Punk like some people have projected? I mean, it's an interesting thought. I don't think it happens. I think Paul turns on Punk to get back into the good graces of his tribal chief. CM Punk does not need Paul Heyman. Roman Reigns may not need Paul Heyman, but everyone that's saying that Seth Rollins could benefit from Paul Heyman, I think Seth Rollins is one of the better mic men out there. I don't know that any of these three necessarily need Paul Heyman, so I'm not buying into the Seth needs Paul or would benefit from Paul. What makes the most sense? I think the most sense is that Paul Heyman had a moment of struggle here with his tribal chief, and now is trying to get back into good graces and swerves Punk to do so. So that's night one. Seth walks away with a win, and I think Paul Heyman's swerve of Punk may contribute to Seth's win, which is going to make it even more difficult for him to get back into the good graces with the OTC. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Day two, we've got a WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, the champions, taking on Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. Liv and Raquel will win. Bayley and Lyra will feud. Now, does Bayley do the full heel turn? Initially, I thought she would, especially given their women's intercontinental match, where she, for a second, looked like she was not going to shake the hand of Lyra, and then thought better of it and came back and shook her hand, gave her a hug, and all that kind of stuff. So it kind of looks like they want to heel turn Bayley, but Bayley just came off of a face turn. She was with Damage Control for the longest time. She's just now starting to establish herself as a face. Boy, wouldn't it be interesting to see Lyra do a nice heel turn here on Bayley, and then those two battle it out for the women's intercontinental. Now that is a storyline I could get behind. I could follow that. It's hard for me to get involved in some of these lesser women's titles because they've just been established and they haven't meant anything yet to anyone. I think Chelsea Green's doing an okay job with the U.S. Championship for the women's side. I don't think Lyra Valkyria has done anything with her Intercontinental title reign, but this could be the opportunity to do that. AJ Styles versus Logan Paul, night two. Sadly, I'm picking Logan Paul because I think that's what the WWE is going to do. Another one of these pass the torch moments, maybe. I would hate to see that. For AJ Styles, I would really hate that, but I think that's the direction they'll go, and that's about all I got on that one. I think that match has an opportunity for a few high spots, but I think it's the dud of the night. I don't think it belongs on Sunday night. I think that's a nod to AJ Styles, and rightly so. That's all I got on that one. Logan Paul unfortunately gets the win. WWE Intercontinental Championship match: Braun Breaker, Penta, Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio. I'm seeing this popular, this trendy pick of Dom winning the Intercontinental title. I don't see that, and I'm going to tell you why. And it's not a bad idea. And I've even seen Dom pins Finn. But here's what I would say: Finn Balor, going back to when Damian Priest was still in the Judgment Day, Finn Balor has been obsessed with having gold, with having a title. There was the whole Finn Balor versus Damian Priest going after the world title. Who should go after it? And it ended up being Priest, and Finn Balor had to sit and bide his time, and he was frustrated. You could see there was something brewing there. Same thing's happening here. There's this undertone of jealousy And quite frankly, I think Finn Balor pins Dominic Mysterio for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. And I think that cost Finn Balor the Judgment Day. Now, will it be a violent exit for Finn Balor where the Judgment Day jumps him? I don't know. It depends on how they bring back in Malachi Black or Aleister Black or whatever they're going to call him. But I do think that's your new leader of the Judgment Day when it's all said and done. I don't think that happens at WrestleMania. It may happen the night after, the Raw after Mania. But I think Finn Balor ends up all alone. No Judgment Day, no friends, no one to celebrate with, as he is the new Intercontinental Champion. So that would be an interesting turn of events. Otherwise, keep it on Breaker. If you're not going to pull that trigger, keep it on Breaker. Sin City Street Fight, Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre. Don't really care about this one, but I think Drew McIntyre needs this win. I think a win here would propel him into a huge year in 2025 for the rest of the year. Damian Priest, if he wins this match, I don't think it impacts him nearly as much as it would Drew McIntyre. So Drew McIntyre, I think, gets the win here. And I think that propels him forward to being in title contention at some point in the year. Randy Orton. So I said back on Falls Count Anywhere when we had Benny on, I'm not sold that Kevin Owens actually is hurt. I'm just not sold on it. And everyone, there's sources and he had surgery and blah, blah, blah. And there are pictures and there's doctor reports and all this kind of stuff. But wouldn't you do that if you were truly trying to sell this injury as legit? So I see one of two things happening here. I see Randy Orton calling out an opponent and being attacked from behind by Kevin Owens, and the match starts, and Kevin Owens picking up a victory there. Or if Kevin Owens is legitimately hurt, it's going to be out for a long time. I see a return here, and I see a return probably of the Wyatt Six, Uncle Howdy, with Alexa Bliss. That would be interesting if that happened. Unfortunate for Randy Orton that if Owens really is hurt, that this is kind of how it ended up being booked out, going into WrestleMania, basically doing an open challenge. Randy Orton deserves more. Women's World Championship, Io Sky, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley. We talked about Bianca, and we talked about Bianca a little bit with Jade Cargill. I think they are on a collision course, especially after what we saw on SmackDown last night, and the two kind of confronting each other, and then Naomi attacking from behind. I don't think Bianca picks up the title here. It would be a shame if she did, quite honestly, because that feud doesn't need the Women's World Championship to be relevant in a feud. Rhea Ripley or Io Sky. I like what they're doing here with Io, like the disrespect that Io gets. Everyone assumes it's either going to be Bianca or Rhea. That leads me to believe Io is going to retain, and I'd be okay with that. And then, of course, the one everyone's waiting for, the undisputed WWE Championship, Cody Rhodes, John Cena. Who's going to win? How is it going to happen? Who's going to come back? Who's going to interfere? I don't know. I'm predicting a John Cena win. I think that's the only thing I think I do know here. How he wins, I don't know. I think it needs to be something that's going to be a distraction for Cody Rhodes until SummerSlam. I think John Cena wins. I think John Cena tries to avoid defending the title because he wants to retire the title. I don't think he will retire the title. If they go that route, what a terrible ending that would be. I think John Cena is eventually going to have to drop the title, whether it's at SummerSlam or whether it's in a pay-per-view later on. He's going to have to drop it. Now the question is, who will he drop it to? Will he drop it back to Cody? Will he drop it to Randy Orton? Who does it go to? That's for post-WrestleMania speculation. But as for tomorrow night, Sunday night, main event, John Cena somehow gets the win over Cody Rhodes, and I'm sure The Rock will be involved, even though he's been absent this entire road, this gravel road to WrestleMania. So there it is, fans. The entire card, Saturday and Sunday night. Predictions from the gentlemen. None of these are probably right. Some of them may be. We'll see. See how it goes. But hey, you know what you can do? Real quickly, you can send me your reactions, or you can send me your predictions to Falls Count Anywhere 323 at gmail.com. There it is right there. Falls Count Anywhere 323 at gmail.com. Let me know what you think. And enjoy your WrestleMania nights. Both of them. And oh, by the way, he is risen. He's risen indeed.